symptom relief has?
Not very long ago, a constituent of mine, someone that I had not met until he came into my office a few weeks ago, told me about his experience with CCSVI, with liberation treatment. He had been for treatment in Poland with a larger group of Canadians, and representative of what we've heard anecdotally from patients all across this country since I talked about this in August. Representative of that, he reported that some in his group who had had the procedure experienced significant symptom relief. Others, not so much. He himself was trying to explain to me what it had done for him. He was very enthusiastic about the results and about the process, and explained it, I thought, in a very good way, but I think he felt that he wanted to show me what had happened to him, what was happening to him in terms of that symptom relief. So he jumped up and down in my office, and he said, this is something that I couldn't have done, period, prior to this treatment. I've never had a meeting like that in my days as a member of the Legislative Assembly or any other jobs I've had in politics. And it is one of many very compelling stories that folks in this room will be aware of. And again, we understand there's other anecdotes that highlight perhaps a little bit less in terms of symptom relief, but what is undeniable here is that there is hope for these MS patients who have had this treatment and others who are interested in pursuing it. We are met today on the campus of our largest city in a province that has the highest incidence of MS in the Dominion of Canada, maybe on a per capita basis in the world. It's 3,500 people that have MS today in Saskatchewan. So if there is to be public research into MS treatment, into some potential answers around at least symptom relief and maybe who knows what down the road, I believe, and our government believes, it should happen here in this province, that we should lead in research. And you've heard me say that in the past. Since I've said that, I can tell you that we have heard from many, both patients who are supportive of taking the next step and many in the research community. Some who have advanced proposals, I want to tell you, for clinical trials, who are interested as well in the next step. Today, along with the Minister of Health, Don McMorris, and along with June and the Saskatchewan Health Research Foundation, I am pleased to announce that the province of Saskatchewan is going to take the next step into exploring the hope around CCSVI and answering some questions for people in this province around liberation treatment. The next step is a very formal process for us to evaluate these proposals for clinical trials. Government's not equipped to do that. Don's, I think, a great health minister, but not equipped to do that. The foundation, though, here in the province is very well equipped to help us in this regard. I'm also announcing today that we have set aside $5 million to provide the funding that will be required for the successful proponent in terms of clinical trials. The Saskatchewan Health Research Foundation will oversee the process, beginning immediately, by setting up an expert advisory panel. They will select the right research team to conduct clinical trials and to examine the effects of the so-called liberation procedure on MS patients. Our government's funding commitment is just the first step. Throughout the process, the foundation will ensure that the research is safe and that the research is done in accordance with strict scientific principles. And I want to thank them again for that. I want to thank the foundation for their history of diligent and groundbreaking support for research, and I want to thank them for their partnership with respect to the clinical trials that we will see in the province of Saskatchewan of liberation treatment, of CCSVI. The research is going to proceed in a timely manner, but it's not going to be done overnight. We want to make sure this process is measured and that it is deliberate and that we take our cue from the research community. A successful proposal, we believe, will be recommended to government towards the end of this year or early in 2011, and clinical trials will begin thereafter. I know that patients, MS patients today, and family members of those patients and their friends, probably everyone in this room knows someone who's afflicted with MS. I know that many are very anxious to press ahead We've heard the stories of those who have benefited from the procedure already, as I've mentioned, and we've heard from others who wish to access the procedure. But we need to be very deliberate about this, and we need again to be led in this by researchers, by the scientific community. And that is exactly what we're going to do. That notwithstanding, there is a lot of hope around CCSVI. There is hope for patients, there is hope for symptom relief, and there's hope maybe for something bigger down the road if we can begin the research. It is our government's view that there needs to be an intersection between hope and science. And I'm happy to announce today that that intersection, as of today, quite formally, that intersection between hope and science exists in the province of Saskatchewan. Thanks for coming out, and I'm going to ask June to maybe make a few comments.